The book of Genesis and the letter of the Romans both talk about this creation and this new creation of which we are a part. Genesis says that you're everything to God. The pinnacle of creation, male and female, in God's own image. The human being responsible for the rest of God's world, to till the earth, to take care of it, to make sure that everyone eats, to ward off global warming by living responsibly. And Genesis talks about how fragile we are. Made of the same DNA and dust and particles as the trees and the animals. Scientists say that you and I share 98% in common with the chimpanzee. And some of us more aggressive types may share closer to 100. In the Genesis creation story, the author never intended to tell you how the earth was made, but instead begs the question of why you are here, and why you're the way you are, and how we fit with one another, and how we fit with this relationship with God and the world. In the Jacob story that we read today, Jacob, for the first time in his life, isn't the grasper or the heel. He really, for the first time in his life, he has a feeling for another person. He falls in love with Rachel as he sees her coming toward him. And it's like the Irish Spring commercial. You know? He loves her, but he's glad to pay the dowry price, 7 years. But Jacob has sown a lot of discontent. He learned a lot from his mom, you remember, about tricking and conniving people into getting what you want. And Jacob had tricked his own brother out of the birthright, and even his final blessing from his dad. When Esau found out what Jacob had done, he planned to kill Jacob and then send him off to find a wife while brother cooled down. And finally, Jacob met his match in his own mother's brother, Laban. So Laban thinks he's marrying his first cousin, Rachel. But the wedding night, instead of bringing beautiful Rachel, he brings Leah with a nice eye. He made up a new rule that in our country, I can't marry you off to the younger one till the older one's married. So you can't have her. You can have them both if you work for another year. And Jacob gets the feel of how it is to be treated the way he's been treating everybody. You know, we get to shape ourselves either like Jacob the grasper or like Jesus the giver. It's really, this is really, and we're called into this wonderful and amazing thing. We can take the Jesus way with the smallest mustard seed of faith, the pine cone seed of faith. We can, as Paul is suggesting, do the footwork, let go and let God, instead of concentrating on persons, possessions, flaws, or mistakes, to work together with God and recognize that in all things God is working for our good. I really believe that God is working for our good. If we want to be spiritual, we need to connect with God in prayer and meditation. Sometimes, like the word said, you're not going to know the words to pray, but sometimes all that will come out is, oh God. You know, and God knows what to do with that. Oh, sweet Jesus. Sometimes God just knows what to do with all that. And the prayer, when it comes our way, when whatever comes our way, no matter how hard life is to handle, God will make things right. Paul says that the God who brought life out of death is the one who is shaping us. So I encourage us all in this season of summer. It's a great season. It's a great season to do some reflection and some praying. It's a great opportunity to be shaped like Jesus. Fred Buechner used to say that you can love those who love you. And the world loves that. You know, the way a brother loves a brother or a friend loves a friend. That's good. You can love those who are less fortunate than you. And the world thinks a great deal of that. That's the thing that hero stories are made up of, you know. And there's even the kind of love that the poor occasionally will have for the rich, which is an extraordinary love. Those who don't have, having love for the haves. You know, that's amazing. But what Jesus is asking you to have in the shape that he is in, and to shape yourself like him, is to be able to even love those that haven't done you right. To love those that you feel have hurt you. To love those who you feel would even want to kill you if they could. And Deaconess says that that's the kind of love that Jesus has. It's the kind of love that God has. And it's the kind of love that God is shaping us into if we're willing to take that. But it's the kind of love that changes the world. It's the only kind of love that changes the world. May God shape us into those world-changing